Greetings from Hilo, Hawaii. Today we are going to discuss how to grow peppers and tomatoes by a suspended pot, non-circulating hydroponic method. Pumps or electrical power will not be needed. These crops require a large volume of nutrient solution throughout their growing period. For example, 3 to 5 gallons of nutrient solution are typically needed to grow a pound of tomatoes. That means that tomatoes producing 10 pounds per plant would require around 40 gallons of nutrient solution per plant. Plants will be grown in a large pot with multiple openings. It's called an accelerator pot. The pot is filled with a peat perlite growing medium. The accelerator pots are supported by 1-inch thick polystyrene, which is placed over a 2-foot by 3-foot polypropylene concrete mixing tank. Fiberglass window screen is placed under the pots, but is pulled as tight as possible. At transplanting time, nutrient solution is added to the tank to a level where the bottom 1/2 inch of the pots are immersed. The plants are automatically watered and fertilized by capillary action. The nutrient solution level is regulated by a float valve sump assembly. Nutrient solution enters the top of the float valve. The level is controlled by the red float mechanism to a height shown by the pencil, and then flows through the small tubing into the growing tank. Let's see how to make a float valve sump assembly. A little giant float valve body is fastened to a 1 by 4 inch board. The red float is connected. The float valve is placed on top of a plastic ice cube tray. A screen is placed over this small tank to keep the mosquitoes out. Nutrient solution flows through the float valve into the sump assembly tank. The rising liquid level raises the float and stops the flow. The nutrient solution flowed from a tank, which is simply a plastic trash container which is shaded by a screen. The tank is raised up about 18 inches by concrete blocks. A small tubing is inserted near the bottom of the tank. This transfers nutrient solution into a 1/2 inch polyethylene tubing, which eventually connects to the float valve. Okay, it's transplanting time, and the nutrient solution level is about 1/2 inch above the screen. If mosquitoes lay eggs in the solution above the screen, they could hatch and transition to adult mosquitoes in 10 to 14 days. So we want the liquid level to drop below the screen as quickly as possible. We want to drop the nutrient solution to about 2 inches below the screen. At this point, the float valve sump assembly is elevated about 2 1/4 inches on 3 boards which are 3/4 inch thick. If all the boards were removed, the sump tank would probably overflow. So let's remove one board and let the plants consume 3/4 inch of solution. Sure enough, the plants remove 3/4 inch of solution, which is now 1/4 inch below the screen. Let's take another board out. Then the plants will be able to drop the water to even a lower level. Finally, let's remove the last board. The solution level is now about 2 1/4 inches below the original level and will remain there for the rest of the crop. If any mosquitoes hatch in this solution, they will be trapped under the screen. Now it's time to set up a greenhouse trial. 3 tanks will be placed on a level platform. A screen is placed on a tank. A cover is placed over the tank. Although this is an expanded polystyrene cover, it could also be made of wood, plastic, or some other material. Nutrient solution will flow from a sump assembly tank to a 1/2-inch poly tube, and then to a 1/4-inch poly tube, which is inserted into the growing tank. Tomatoes and peppers are transplanted and begin to grow and grow and grow and grow. The tomatoes are beginning to size up, and now they're beginning to ripen. Oh, great joy! Tasty, vine-ripened tomatoes. Actually, it's double joy. We have 2 different varieties of tomatoes growing here. These are red University of Hawaii N52 tomatoes and the golden yellow Jubilee tomatoes. By the way, this shows a nice picture of the solution level indicator, which was discussed in more detail in a previous video. Let's turn our attention over to the peppers now. Many small pepper fruits are forming. The peppers are sizing up and will become about 6 inches long. The pepper variety is F1 Hybrid Hot Pepper Yellow Hot. It's time to harvest the peppers. Look at how many fruits were harvested from only 6 plants. Wow! The peppers from this harvest weigh 2 pounds, and there's many more harvests to come. Let's look at the tomato roots. These roots are under the screen. Besides excluding mosquitoes, the screen actually promotes more aggressive root growth. But there's not too many roots above the screen. Now let's look at the pepper roots. Again, there's not too many roots above the screen, but there's a lot of beautiful white roots below the screen. Once in a while, roots plug up the small tubing which transports the nutrient solution into the tank. A stiff wire is inserted into the tubing and worked back and forth to clear the blockage. You might say this is sort of a root angioplasty. Let's talk a little bit about nutrient solution. The nutrient solution supply tank remains filled, and this is regulated by a float valve which supplies water to the tank. The nutrient solution is stirred, and the strength of the solution is measured with an electrical conductivity or EC meter. This solution has a strength of 0.95 millisiemens, or we just say MS. We need to be wary of nutrient solution strength because too much fertilizer early in the growing period causes excessive vegetative growth and can delay fruiting, and too little fertilizer in the fruiting and harvest stage will cause deficiencies and lower yields. Here's a simple guide to nutrient solution strength from transplanting to blossom set, 1.0 ms. About 3 weeks after blossom set, 1.5 ms. The remainder of the crop, 2.0 ms. This should be tweaked and improved according to your experience. Concentrated fertilizer stock solutions are stored in plastic trash containers. Stock solution A contains 1 pound per gallon of ChemGrow 81536 plus 0.6 pounds per gallon of magnesium sulfate. This is actually a lettuce formula, but it works pretty good for tomatoes and peppers too. ChemGrow has a specific tomato formula which would be recommended if tomatoes would be your only crop. The solution is stirred and a graduated pitcher is used to measure the solution volume. Stock solution B contains 1 pound per gallon of solution-grade calcium nitrate, plus as an option, 1 teaspoon per gallon of iron chelate may also be added. Stock solution B is mixed, and a graduated pitcher is used to measure the solution volume. About 550 milliliters of stock solution A and an equal amount of stock solution B are ready to be added to the nutrient solution tank. First, the tank is mixed, and then the solution A is added. The tank is mixed some more, and then stock solution B is added, and the solution is mixed some more again. Let's measure the nutrient solution strength now. Let's see, it's 2.45 ms. This would seem to be too high, but it somewhat compensates for the previous reading, which was too low. Yes, this procedure needs some improvement. Someone asked me if eggplant could also be grown by this method. Well, the answer is yes. I'm sure you folks will make improvements to these growing methods for peppers and tomatoes, but for now, I bid you aloha!